Many American companies have raised the social justice flag when it comes to what they view as injustices inside of the United States. But when it comes to doing business with the Chinese Communist Party, human rights and fair treatment seem to get thrown out the window at the behest of the CCP. Justin Danhof is Executive Vice President of the National Center for Public Policy Research. We sat down with him to explore the idea of woke capitalism. Here's a look. Justin Danhof, thank you so much for joining us on the Capitol Report.
It's my pleasure, Steve.
Now, Justin, I want to ask you about woke capitalism. Can you explain to us exactly what it is and give us a few examples of it?
Yeah, sure. So let's take the current state of play with the business community. Right now, you can look at two issues, voter integrity and the Equality Act. So in Georgia this spring, we saw as hundreds of companies, leading companies like Coca-Cola, Delta Airlines, Bank of America, all came out and decried what were common sense voter integrity measures that are, by the way, perfectly constitutional. Major League Baseball pulled its All-Star game out of Atlanta, costing the city an estimated $100 million. So that's one issue. The other issue, the Equality Act. The Equality Act passed the House. It's currently sitting with the Senate, where more than 400 American leading businesses are working with the Human Rights Campaign to lobby to get that law passed. Well, this does two things that are just so horrific. First, it harms women on multiple settings, right, including in sports, but also in places like shelters and women-owned businesses that will now be allowed to be run by men who subjectively claim that they're a woman on any given day, right? And also, it does great harm to Americans of faith. It takes RFRA, the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, and actually excises it out of federal law. Thereby, Americans of faith don't have that protection that they've had on the books since 1993. Well, guess where the business community is with that? Again, I'd mentioned 400 companies are working with the Human Rights Campaign, but beyond that, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce fully endorses it. The Business Roundtable, same thing. The National Association of Manufacturers, same thing. Even Barack Obama said that religious liberty is a human dignity. So we're now to the point in America where big business is to the political left of Barack Obama. That's how woke we are in this country right now.
Now, when it comes to hypocrisy, like you mentioned, a ton of these companies that are going so-called woke actually conduct a lot of big business in China, where there's endless human rights abuses.
Well, because our corporate media is also bending the knee to China, right? Absolutely. Just as much as Disney or Amazon or Apple. And so, they know, the NBA knows where they get ratings, right? And so, of course, TNT, which hosts a lot of NBA programs, they're not going to say anything about these issues. And so that's just it. Their silence has been bought.
Now, do you think this woke capitalism is just a fad right now? Do you see it passing, or where does it go from here?
Oh, no. This is part of the left's march through the institutions. If you slice America into cultural lanes, business is just the most recent that the left is trying to take over. And it truly is a tripart takeover, much in the same way that the academia was taken over higher education in the 1960s. It's top down, it's bottom up, and outside in. What do I mean by that? Top down, look at the boards of the Fortune 500 companies these days. There's been a dramatic shift to the political left of the board members. That's been intentional. The search agencies, for example, that the companies use, they got super woke. So they're placing people on boards for ideological reasons that have nothing to do with the performance of companies. How did that happen in education? That was tenure. Right, tenure was supposed to be about academic freedom for professors. It was really blackballing, conservative and traditional-minded Americans from getting lifetime appointments in academia.
Justin Danhof, thank you.
Thank you, Steve.